Welcome back to African Story Tales. If you missed part 1, here is a quick recap. Mr. Ayola Oladeji and Mrs. Nkechi Oladeji lived in Lagos. They had one daughter named Rolake. Despite being their only daughter, they instilled discipline, teaching her the values of respect, hard work, and morality. But Rolake stopped receiving all discipline and chose a rebellious life. Her world turned upside down when she was 19 years old. She met TJ, who manipulated and impregnated her and then abandoned her. Desperate and alone, Rolake is left with only one option, which is to go back to her parents. Now, let us dive into part 2. Taking a deep breath, she knocked at the door. What if they don't let me in? What if this is the end for me? The door creaked open. It was her mother. Her eyes widened in surprise, and she quickly regained her composure. Rolake, where have you been? Her mother asked, ushering her inside. Rolake's eyes brimmed with tears. She asked, "Mommy, please, can I sit down?" Her voice shaking as she fought to hold back the sobs. Her mother nodded with concern, washing over her face. Yes, sit down, dear. Let me call your father." "Daddy, Rolake is here." Immediately, her father entered the room and sat down with a look of curiosity on his face. Taking a deep breath, Rolake looked at her parents. "Daddy, Mommy, I am pregnant," she said, the words tumbling out of her mouth. Her mother froze in shock, her breath itching. Then she slumped back in her chair. "Rolake, who?" she started to ask, but her voice strayed off. Her father's face darkened like he has been punched in his gut. "Who is the father? Is it TJ?" he demanded. Rolake hesitated, unsure of how much to say. "He abandoned me," she said faintly. "He doesn't want anything to do with me or the baby." Her mother turned ghostly pale, and she let out a faint gasp before slumping into the chair. Rolake's father rushed to her side, panic seizing him as he screamed, "Mommy, Rolake! Mommy, Rolake!" Rolake watched in horror as her mother was rushed to the hospital. She followed closely behind, her heart heavy with dread. At the hospital, the doctor's words pierced the hearts of their panic. "I am sorry. Your wife had a heart attack. She didn't make it." Rolake stumbled backward, her vision blurry with tears, as her father's furious, grief-stricken face loomed before her. "This is all your fault," he yelled. "You brought nothing but shame and bad luck to our family. Get out and never come back. I said, get out. I don't want to ever see you again." Rolake staggered out of the hospital, her heart shattered in a million pieces. She walked away from the only home she had ever known, regretting every decision she made but could not make up for. The scorching sun beat down on her like a relentless drum. The sound of the city horns, chattered, and wailing sirens enveloped her. The city streets mirrored the chaos in her mind, thoughts and worries swirling around her like the crowds. Rolake vanished into the crowd, the weight of loneliness crushing her. She felt like a small boat adrift in a stormy sea, helpless and alone. With all hope lost, slowly she made her way back home to collect what little of her remaining belongings was left before heading back to TJ's house. The memories of her mother's passing and her father's rejection flooded back. When she arrived at TJ's house, everything felt so different. She was greeted by the familiar sight of their belongings. But the bed that once brought comfort now felt like a grave, and the sofa beside it, which was used to hold her so many times, now felt like the seat in hell. Everything was tainted by the shadow of TJ's betrayal. She wandered through the empty rooms, her footsteps echoing off the walls, her heart heavy with grief. It was as though only the lizard on the empty kitchen sink, nodding its head, and the black spider on the brown wall, making webs that reached the old bulb light slowly cracking, were happy to see her, both unaware of the storm in her heart. Words caught in her throat as she sank into thoughts, regretting every decision that led her there. Why hadn't she listened to anyone? How could she have fallen for his lies? Just then, there was a knock at the door. It was the landlord, reminding her that the rent was due to expire soon, and she just had 3 months left to renew it. TJ has taken all her savings, leaving her with nothing. Reality kept hitting on her as the landlord's words hung in the air, a harsh reminder of Rolake's uncertain future. Rolake woke up every morning feeling frustrated and confused, not knowing where to start or what to do. But she knew she had to make a move and stop dwelling on the past. With her eyes fixed on the future, Rolake got out of the bed. She began to apply for jobs, and with her secondary school certificate, rejection after rejection came her way. People whispered about her wayward lifestyle and her pregnancy. They didn't want someone like her representing their business. Though Rolake tried to brush off the hurtful comments, they lingered, making her question her self-worth. Just when Rolake thought all hope was lost, one person decided to take a chance on her. Mrs. Jackins, the owner of a big boutique in the center of the city, pitied her and offered to hire her as a salesperson. Despite the gossips and rumors, Rolake was grateful for the opportunity, and she vowed to prove herself. As Rolake navigated her new job, she faced judgment from her co-workers and even some of her old friends who came into the store just to mock her. They would make hurtful comments about her situation. Rolake held herself together, refusing to let their opinion bring her down. She focused on her work, determined to scale through. One friend, however, stood by Rolake's side, Sarah, who had warned Rolake about TJ's intention, now offered a shoulder to cry on. She helped Rolake with errands, accompanied her to prenatal appointments, and reminded her that she wasn't alone. Rolake cherished their friendship, grateful for Sarah's unwavering support. Rolake tried so hard to ignore the gossip and insult, but she could not. It was beginning to affect her mental health, and it's not good for the unborn baby. She needed to escape the drama and gossip. So, Rolake used her savings to move to a new neighborhood, far away from Ikotun, where she had lived all her life. It was a daunting prospect, but Rolake was determined to start afresh to create a better life for herself and her unborn child. Mrs. Jaggins and Sarah continued to support her. As Rolake settled into her new home at Ajegule, she went to a new clinic and received a shock of her life. She was having a set of twins. The news was both exhilarating and terrifying. How would she care for 2 babies on her own? Rolake's mind raced with question, but she knew she had to be strong. Finally, the day came. Rolake had gotten into labor. Sarah helped her to the hospital. Quickly, quickly, a nurse urged. Help her into the room. Rolake laid on the bed, feeling sharp pains she had never experienced before. Looking up the white ceiling, gripping the bed sheets, caught between life and death. Madam, relax, okay? Don't be scared. Just spread your legs so that the baby can come out, she said softly, and felt pity for her. Then, with a calm voice, she added, now, push. Be strong. You can do it. Push, Rolake. Summoning every ounce of strength, screamed as she pushed. Memories flashed before her eyes, and tears streamed down her face as she continued. The first baby came out, then the second. She felt it was over, but the midwife said, hold on, madam, it is not yet over. There is one more. Push! How? Rolake asked with confusion. They handed the babies to her. She gazed at them, thoughtless for a while. Then she placed both hands on her head and screamed, ah! Mogbe! She knew this was just the beginning, and the doom of the family her father once hoped in was closer than she could imagine. Tell us what you have learned from this story. Share your thoughts with us in the comment section. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more exciting stories. Hit that notification bell to stay tuned on new stories. Let's keep the conversation going. What's your favorite part of the story?